the secret mission behind Putin's North Korea visit revealed. Russia to get reinforcements from Pyongyang? Now, North Korean boots on the ground in Ukraine. Days after Russia and North Korea signed a mutual defense pact during Russian President Vladimir Putin's closely watched visit to Pyongyang, reports have emerged that Kim Jong Un may send his forces into Ukraine as early as next month. A Reuters report based on a South Korean news channel TV Chosun's story, citing a South Korean government official, says North Korea plans to send construction and engineering forces to Russia-occupied territories of Ukraine for rebuilding work. According to the report, Pyongyang troops, working overseas under the disguise of construction workers, would be moved from China to the Russia-held territories in Ukraine. This comes as the Treaty on Comprehensive Strategic Partnership was signed between Putin and his North Korean counterpart Kim on June 19th. The deal includes a clause requiring the two countries to come to each other's aid militarily if either is attacked, a move that raised Western concerns about the potential transfer of weapons from Pyongyang to Moscow amid the war, as well as potential Russian aid for North Korea's missile or nuclear program. However, the deployment of North Korean soldiers in Russian-occupied territories of Ukraine amid the war, that too so soon after the signing of the defense agreement, was not something observers had probably expected. Neither Pyongyang nor Moscow have officially commented on the report. The South Korean Foreign Ministry, however, told Reuters that it was continuing to monitor the situation without confirming the news. Meanwhile, the United States, which is the biggest military aid provider to Ukraine, cautioned Pyongyang against such a move.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly something to keep an eye on. I think that if I were North Korean military personnel management, I would be questioning my choices on sending my forces to be cannon fodder in an illegal war against Ukraine, and we've seen the kinds of casualties that Russian forces but again, something that we'll keep an eye on.
Earlier, top North Korean military officials criticized Washington for its expanding military assistance to Ukraine and dispatch of one of its aircraft carriers to join joint drills with Pyongyang's neighbors South Korea and Japan. A Korean Central News Agency report cited North Korea's Vice Minister of Defense, Kim Jong-il, saying the US sending an aircraft carrier to the Korean peninsula was a very dangerous show of force. Kim Jong-il warned, the DPRK bitterly condemns the provocative attempts of the United States and the Republic of Korea, the heinous confrontation maniacs, with the most powerful rhetoric and with all possibilities of demonstrating its overwhelming and new deterrent force. A nuclear-powered US aircraft carrier, Theodore Roosevelt, arrived in the South Korean port city of Busan on June 22nd to take part in joint military exercises later this month with Seoul and Japan, despite warnings from Pyongyang which sees it as a provocation. Just days after Putin's visit to Pyongyang, Pak Jong-chon, one of North Korea's top military officials, said Moscow had the right to opt for any kind of retaliatory strike if Washington kept pushing Ukraine to a proxy war against Russia. It could provoke a stronger response from Moscow and a new world war, Pak was quoted as saying by state-owned KCNA. The warning came after the Pentagon last week said that Ukrainian forces can use US-supplied weapons to strike Russian forces anywhere across the border into Russia. In response to Washington's move, the Russian president threatened to arm North Korea if Western countries continued providing military aid to Ukraine.
Те, кто поставляет это оружие, считают, что они с нами не воюют. Я и сказал, в том числе и в Пхеньяне, что мы тогда оставляем за собой право поставлять оружие в другие регионы мира. Имея в виду наши договоренности с Корейской Народно-Демократической Республикой, я и этого не исключаю.
The next day, the US called Putin's remarks incredibly concerning in a press briefing.
It would destabilize the Korean Peninsula, of course, and potentially depending on the type of weapons they provide, might violate UN Security Council resolutions that Russia itself has supported.
On the battlefront, North Korea has been repeatedly accused by Ukraine's Western allies of sending weapons to Russia during the war. A Washington Post report based on data from U.S. security nonprofit C4ADS claims that Russia may have received about 1.6 million artillery shells from North Korea from August to January. The report says as much as 74,000 metric tons of explosives have moved from Russia's Far East ports to other sites, mainly along the borders near Ukraine. Moscow and Pyongyang have also recently agreed to resume passenger train services between Vladivostok, a main Russian Pacific port city, and the North Korean city of Ryazan. The rail service between the two countries, which is starting in July, was disrupted during the COVID-19 pandemic. Russia and North Korea's signing of a mutual defense pact last week sent ripples across the region, with South Korea summoning Moscow's envoy, and Japan and the United States voicing serious concern. United by massive and strict sanctions imposed by the US-led West, Pyongyang and Moscow have in the past few years boosted their ties marked by reciprocal visits and signing of agreements to aid each other's economy, culture, and military.